Alright guys, welcome to the email list section of Newsletter Secrets. We're going to be starting off this section by diving into the first module, which is going to be all about kind of the basics of setting up your email list and some things you should consider when choosing an ESP, as well as how to properly set everything up to be compliant, and also taking into consideration the data privacy rules, laws, and all that stuff. So this lesson specifically is going to be about choosing an ESP. It's kind of the obvious first step. So what exactly is an ESP, and really why do you need one? Why can't you just save all your emails in a Google spreadsheet and email everybody at one time that way? That's kind of the question that some people might have, but are just too afraid to ask, thinking it's a stupid question. Definitely not a stupid question. If you've never done this before, it can be kind of overwhelming and confusing all at the same time, because there's so many different ways to do this, and you aren't really sure what is the right way, the legal way. The laws are different in different countries and even different states, which we will see in a future lesson here. So first things first, let's figure out what an ESP is, and what it stands for is email service provider. Really, the phrase email service provider, the ESP, is kind of just what people have called it for years and years, and it's actually been decades now. The name has kind of changed quite a bit. The name actually hasn't changed. What it really means has changed quite a bit over the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. ESPs used to be something very, very technical that were really expensive and really only did one thing. They managed an email list and allowed you to send emails to a bunch of people. There are just tons and tons of tools like the software ESPs that have popped up over the last decade or so, and now it's become more of a just an online tool that you can use to manage your email list and to send marketing emails. So for the sake of the newsletter business, all you really need to understand is that having an ESP is 100% required. And the main reason is to make sure that you stay compliant and follow the rules and laws like you're supposed to, but also it's added convenience and automation. So just think of it as a way to send marketing emails to your email list. Like I said, it helps you to stay compliant with different rules and laws. Here in the U.S., we have something called the Can Spam Law or Act. There's just a number of different things it covers, but it's basically, really what it means is you can send somebody a marketing message one time, but they need to have a way to unsubscribe. And if they don't want to receive it again, you can't send it again. So if somebody says, stop sending me an email or unsubscribe, even if they just reply back to that initial email and say unsubscribe, you have to unsubscribe them or just don't send them an email again. That's really what the Can Spam Act means, is that you as a business owner need to adhere to their wishes. If they don't want to receive email from you anymore, then don't send them email anymore. An ESP helps you do that. They give you all the tools you need to do it. They put unsubscribe links in every single email you send. They ensure that the person that is on your list wanted to be on the list. And again, it's going to vary for different countries. And if you start getting traffic from other countries, you need to consider some of the other rules that those other countries have as well, which we'll talk about that in the coming lesson. But another thing to do is just easily maintain the email list. You can go in and visually see the list itself. You can look at all kinds of different stats and all stuff like that, as kind of all kinds of automation, so that you're able to let this business run by itself for the most part. All you got to do is send traffic to your website, send emails to the list, and they handle the rest. So what should you really look for when you're trying to figure out what ESP you want to use? There's a number of things. First thing is a high deliverability rate. So if you don't know what that means, the deliverability rate means if you send an email to a list of 100 people, what percentage of those people received that email? Meaning, out of those 100 people, did the email even end up in their inbox? And in some cases, it doesn't even end up in their spam. It just doesn't even make it. It gets filtered through the ISP, which is the internet service provider. So if you have like a Gmail email address, Gmail is the ISP. They're the ones. Actually, Gmail ISP is a totally different thing that could potentially even be your internet connection at home. But anyway, the filters really stop at the people that you have the email through, which could be your internet service provider. So if you have like used to be Time Warner's, now Spectrum, there's a couple other ones, Cox, and there's actually a whole bunch of them. But the filters really stop with the people who gave you the email address. They're the ones filtering things. They'll let stuff slip through, and then you can decide whether it's spam or not. And even sometimes they'll decide that it's spam for you and just put it in the spam folder. The deliverability rate is basically what percentage of the emails that you sent from your ESP ended up in the inbox. Obviously, you'd want that number to be almost 100, if not 100. So what I have here is a kind of a third-party tool that, or really a company that tests deliverability through a bunch of different ESPs so that you can view them. Before I click on this and let you take a look at it, keep in mind that deliverability isn't just how good the tool is. There's a lot of other variables at play, meaning how good is your email list? Are you getting... is every email that you put on your list a valid real email? Because if it isn't a real email, somebody just mistyped it and they left one letter out. That obviously that email is not going to get delivered. It's going to show as an undelivered email. So that's just one thing, one variable that could be at play when it comes to deliverability. I'm not saying that their results aren't real or true, but keep in mind that there's other things at play other than just how good the tool is. So let's take a look. So what they've done here is they picked probably all of the most popular ESPs here on the left. You'll see them. And they've just kept track. They send, I don't know if it's once a year, once a quarter. It looks like it's kind of once a year. And here they did twice a year. The last one here was just last month in 2021. The percentage is the deliverability rate for each of those companies at that time. So you can see each one of these. You can come here later on if you want and just keep checking on this. There are other sites that do the same thing. I don't really know anything about this company. I'm guessing that they are trying to sell something related to email marketing, but I feel that this is a overall pretty valid test. And from the ones that I'm going to show you here later on in this lesson, I want you to keep in mind, like I said, there's a lot of variables at play that could potentially affect the deliverability rate. And just because you see here one has a higher score than the other, and why wouldn't I pick this one over that one? Or some of these have 90s all the way across the board almost, and some of them barely have 80s. And I'm not picking the one with the highest one, is because I've been using things for so long. Partially, I'm stubborn and just don't like to change. But obviously, if it's hurting my business and I'm losing the potential to make a lot more money, I'm going to switch. So what I'm giving here at the end are my top two recommendations. They're both on this list. You can compare them and make your own decision. I'm going to give you my number one recommendation from those two as well. All right. So first one was high deliverability rate. Second is affordability. So like I said before, ESPs used to be like really, really expensive. $1,000 per month, multi-$1,000 per month tools that you had to be able to pay for in order to manage an email list, basically like your own server basis to send emails. It's not like that anymore. As you'll see, you can actually get one for free. You can do a free account somewhere, which I don't recommend, but it will get you kind of in the game and start building your email list. The one that I recommend, both of them really are less than $20 a month. So they're kind of all affordable. But just keep in mind what you're using this for. And if you have plans on doing all kinds of different things and you need way more functionality, then that's going to be kind of on you to figure out, like, can this tool get me to where I want to be with all the features that it has? Next is automation, which is one of the reasons why I love the newsletter business. It allows you to set all this stuff up once, and it just runs like clockwork without any kind of input from you. The majority of these tools all have the basic automation we need for a newsletter business. If you're looking for, again, something that's custom that I'm not really covering in this course, they're out there. I promise you, you can find any kind of automation you're looking for, you can find. And it may take you coupling it with another tool or maybe even 3 tools to get it done, but you can do it. Another thing to consider is the reporting analytics. Again, most of these ESPs, they have everything you need. It doesn't take a whole lot to run one of these businesses. So, a couple of optional things that may or may not matter to some of you. If you would rather just design the web form or design landing pages for those forms inside of your ESP. Again, almost all of them have this feature now. Personally, I don't do any of the designing of either the form or the landing page inside the ESP. I do that all on the website itself, which we've already covered in the last section. And the last one are email templates. Some of them, really every single one of them, have their own email templates that they offer you. I don't get too fancy with my email templates. At most, I will do like a banner image at the top, which you'll see here later on. If I'm doing, a lot of times it will just literally be a regular email, like a plain email, white background, black text, and to make it look like it came from a real person. And again, the fanciest I get will be a banner at the top and maybe kind of so a banner at the top and then like a square border around it from the sides and just center it. That's about as fancy as I get for graphics and designs inside of these templates. The main thing is the content, and you want to keep that as the focus. So, but those are optional things that you may consider when you're trying to figure out, who you want to use. So, here are my 2 recommendations. If you've known me at all, been through any of my other courses, I still recommend Aweber. They're still just they're just exactly what we need for this business. If you go back and look at that deliverability chart, they're not the best by any means when it comes to being ranked top for deliverability. But again, that's the reason that I was saying that there are way more variables involved in that, why deliverability suffers than just the quality of the tool and their capabilities of sending email and get it delivered to the inbox. They used to claim that their deliverability rate was 99%. From that chart, if you go back and look, they were averaging low 80s probably. But I don't believe that low 80s is accurate for everybody that uses Aweber. Definitely not for me. I know that based on every email that I send. But as you'll see, if you spend any time looking or researching deliverability rates beyond what the one website I showed you, there are others. You will find varying results, and that's exactly why. There's just so many variables at play that affect deliverability. So, Aweber is the first one. Let me click over there. So again, they're kind of all the same. I hate saying they're all the same because they're not the same company, but they're all the same in the sense that they kind of offer the same stuff to a brand new person who's never done this before. looking at these companies, you're going to be like, I don't know which one to pick because they all seem to have the same stuff. You're 100% right that they do. Some of it is just preference. For me, it still is preference because I can get in Aweber and know exactly what I'm doing. I can like do it with my eyes closed because I've done it so long and for so many years, so many different businesses. It's just kind of second nature to me. But there's more than that. You got to think about, which I didn't put on that slide, it's pretty important, is customer service. When you have an issue or a question, can you submit a ticket and get a response in a reasonable amount of time? With Aweber, you absolutely can. Hands down, they're one of the best that I've seen in this business when it comes to customer service. So let's check out pricing here. You can do, like I said, you can do, you can choose the free plan up to 500 subscribers. Just understand that you will likely be limited on some things, like right here. Email split testing, vehicle automation, card benefit. So Aweber branding could be a potential issue if you're using their forms. Trying to see if there's anything that would be like a deal breaker for picking free over pro. Like if you're just getting started, you know, the free one looks like it has everything you need. There's nothing that's missing that I can tell. You don't need to worry about email split testing right now. Behavioral automation, I'm guessing, is if somebody clicks a link, you can move them around and stuff. Again, at the beginning, what you need is a place to put your subscribers that you can manage them and send them emails. That's it. You don't need any of the fancy stuff yet. So it'll get you started. You can upgrade at any time, and everything will be in the same place it always was. You're not going to lose anything. But let's see what monthly looks like. So $19 a month. And you can see it goes up as you get more subscribers. It'll go up. So what we're paying for our gardening email list, I don't honestly even know. I haven't checked in a long time. We have 200,000 subscribers, so it gets pretty hefty, you know. But again, when you have a list that big, you should be making a good chunk of money from that list every month. So that's kind of an overview of Aweber. My second recommendation is ActiveCampaign. So just a bit of a disclaimer, I have not used ActiveCampaign for very long, meaning like nowhere near as long as Aweber. I've been using them since 2000, make sure I get this right, 2019 I've been using, since 2019, about April or May 2019 I've been using them, so getting close to about 2 years. Really great company as well. Very similar to Aweber in the sense of customers come first. Their support is just as good as Aweber's. The biggest difference, so if you're trying to figure out like which one to go with, the biggest difference is if you have a lot of things you like to automate that maybe doesn't look like Aweber can handle, ActiveCampaign likely can do it. They are more of a CRM tool than they are an ESP. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. It's a place for like sales reps to come in and manage their deals they have going on. You can view pipelines and deals. That's the CRM side of things. They also have just an email marketing automation side of things. So if you look at solutions right here, let's say actually go to, looks like they changed the way that they break this down, but if you look at, like let's go to marketing. They have everything that Aweber has and more as far as automation. They have way more automation stuff, way more visual automation stuff like this. And if you think that you're going to need like a bunch of custom things, like if somebody does this on my site, I want to move them over or tag them in my ActiveCampaign or in my email list, ActiveCampaign is the place to do that. If you think you're going to need to do a bunch of third-party tools and connect it with like Zapier or something like that, ActiveCampaign is going to give you way more customization and flexibility than Aweber will. If you have no idea what I'm talking about with customization and Zapier and third-party integrations, ActiveCampaign is not for you. Go with Aweber. That's kind of the easiest way for me to tell you like which one you should choose. My personal recommendation for what we are doing in the newsletter business is Aweber. That's why they're number one on this slide. They're going to be able to give you everything that you need to run a newsletter business. If there's something they can't do, there's a way that you can do it with another tool. And if we get to that point where maybe in the advanced, I'll do an advanced section where I'll show you how to do some integration stuff with Zapier, which we'll likely end up doing a little bit of Zapier stuff throughout the rest of this training, just because it is so functional and makes everything so much easier. You don't need to kind of worry about what that is right now, but if you don't know which one to pick, and you seriously think that ActiveCampaign might be for you, then ask the question below this video and ask me, or send me an email and ask me, say, hey, I'm going to be doing this, and this. Can Aweber handle it? In most cases, I would say yes. In some cases, like if you got to take data from one place, a different tool, and put it in something else, or take it out of your email list and put it somewhere, Aweber can do some of that, but they can't do as much as ActiveCampaign. So if you're unsure, but you know that you just need a basic place to run a newsletter business, add people to the list, send emails to that list, maybe move them around automatically inside of lists. Aweber can do all of that. They can do tagging and stuff like that. ActiveCampaign, it's going to be way more for advanced customization stuff. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. If not, go ahead and get signed up for one of these two. For Vacation Sumo, I'm going to, I'm going to pick Aweber for Vacation Sumo. So in the next video, we will go through that setup process. I'm not going to be showing any kind of setup process in ActiveCampaign. It's just, like I said, 99% of the people in this training going through Newsletter Secrets will not need ActiveCampaign. It's more for a complicated marketing funnel, which you can have with a newsletter business, but 99% of the people going through this, Aweber is going to be able to do everything that they will ever need. So that's what I'm going to show how to do, and we will get into that in the next lesson.